Hi, my name is James, and I'm going to be discussing the current political and economic situation in Papua New Guinea. PNG is a nation made up of many islands in the southwest Pacific Ocean. The mainland encompasses the eastern portion of the island of Guinea. The mainland encompasses many large reserves of valuable minerals, vast forests, abundant water and marine resources, and fertile land for agriculture. It's a Commonwealth nation with a parliamentary constitutional democracy headed by the Prime Minister. They have a population of just under 12 million people, and they're the most linguistically diverse nation in the world, with 850 native languages still spoken today. The vast majority of citizens lived in rural areas, with only 13% living in urbanized areas. However, many of these rural regions lack access to electricity, clean water, education, and healthcare, and over 30% of the population lives below the poverty line. The top industries are agriculture, fishing, forestry, and mineral and energy extraction. Gold, copper, oil, and natural gas account for the majority of the nation's exports. Today, the GDP is about $32 million in US dollars, with about a $2,500 GDP per capita. Businesses in PNG have been struggling with a subdued economic climate caused by unreliable public utilities, heightened security costs, and failure to attract adequate foreign direct investment. Despite some economic growth and resource-driven investment over the past few years, the poverty line has barely budged. And similar to many other nations in the past few years, high inflation has caused the cost of living to rise and put a strain on residents. In light of these setbacks, the Parliament decided in 2025 to remove the goods and service taxes from essential food and household items and made permanent the increase of the tax-free threshold. The budget allocated significant public funds to combat the crumbling security situation in the country, as well as increases in health, education, and infrastructure spending. And the US has taken an interest in PNG in recent years, mostly due to concerns over Chinese influence. The US's Global Fragility Act enabled the Peace Project, which focuses on economic empowerment and violence prevention in the country. Just as the program began, however, all USAID funding to Papua New Guinea was suspended under the Trump administration. PNG's $80 million annual exports of coffee, cocoa, and vanilla to the US have also been hit with Trump's 10% tariff. And all preventative measures and community outreach programs to combat the HIV/AIDS epidemic were also paused by Trump. This comes as the region suffers the highest HIV/AIDS rate outside of Africa. However, the US Department of Defense is investing $400 million in a new fuel storage facility in the capital, Port Moresby, as well as refurbishing barracks and renewing a slew of training programs. The US is also committed to PNG's efforts to professionalize security forces and combat illicit activity at sea. PNG and Australia are currently negotiating a bilateral security agreement, as national security and terrorism remain top threats in the country. PNG has a rating of 0.576 on the Human Development Index, which places them at number 160 out of 193 nations. However, with the government's recent efforts to invest in infrastructure, education, business, and national security, there's hope that they can make progress. And while PNG has faced a number of setbacks in recent years, they're a developing nation with the ability to attract investment with their natural resources.